like I am. Well, I know you know that life is colder, colder when I'm older, older than I am. And I know you know that I have lost composure, but I'll hold you closer while I can. I never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us back on the NECC. We've got Overwatch 2 Fridays, just like we were rolling through all last semester. It is Jobin and Ray yet again. New semester, bunch of new faces to a bunch of new teams. A lot of Overwatch new in the news recently, so there's a lot to look forward to coming into these next few months of games.
Yeah, I'm very excited, especially with the whole fact that Overwatch got this huge spotlight announcement coming out. We got 5 heroes coming out next week, so that's going to be interesting how that works out with NECC. 10 heroes coming out this year. We're dropping the twos, so it'll be just Overwatch from going on forward. Very excited for all these things happening. And we got two great games for you. So we're going to be starting in Division 3 for you guys. We got Purdue White going against the Carthage Redbirds.
Yep, so the Carthage taking on Purdue there. The lineups obviously on the screen there. Stepping up for Purdue, you're going to have online ASV Pow, Sarazen, Xanabox, and Hatsu XZ. And obviously for Carthage, ZXC, Ferocious Pig, Chicken Fries, Jumpy Wizard, and then Hollister. And we have had a couple patches since obviously the last time we did games was early to mid-December, I think, was the championships for the fall semester. And now we've gotten a few months later. There's a few more heroes that are in the game. Some of them will not be allowed today. I believe Anron is going to be taken out. They're disabled. Yeah. So if anyone locks in that, they're going to forfeit the map. So don't expect to be seeing any of that today. Obviously, Vendetta made a lot of news coming into the game kind of after the semester ended. So there's been a lot of shakeups, even despite, obviously, like we mentioned, the big week of news we just got.
Yes, both of these teams have been pretty big names in the Division 3 for NECC. Carthage always finds themselves, in top 3 placements. Purdue White, same thing. They tend to always make the playoffs, and, they have mixed results, but they always do well. So I think this is going to be quite the game to start off our NECC spring semester with a bang. We do know what the first map is going to be, and that is going to be Busan.
Yeah, should be a fun map one to open up. It certainly beats, getting the Lijiangs for so long that we did. And obviously the format has changed a little bit with OWCS. And basically after map one, whatever team loses, we're essentially free fire to go wherever they want. They're going to have a lot more variety to try to mix up the series and pick a map and a mode that they end up liking. So Purdue obviously coming in right. It is week one, so at least on paper coming in as the underdogs. But the beauty of week one is that a lot of teams are just going to use, I don't want to say a whole month as like a trial period, but you can play 1 or 2 games where you're definitely experimenting, maybe with different players, especially given how deep the Overwatch hero pool now is. So these first couple weeks is all about just finding your identity as a team and trying to find something that you can make work.
Yes, we can see below we do have the bans coming in from both of these teams with Freya and Wu Yang getting banned out right at the gate. My guess is given we're on a Busan-like map, it's likely we're going to see Lucio for your main support, especially with Wu Yang getting banned. And then there's just going to be a mixture, which is interesting because I haven't, obviously we've all been on winter break for the longest time, so mostly been having to get our fill through, OWCS scrims and collegiate scrims and stuff. So especially since this is the week before a big patch is going to drop, it's almost kind of like a farewell to this patch.
That is true, I guess, yeah, with more patches coming in recent, things are just going to continue to shake up. You mentioned, obviously, just basically Overwatch said, listen, you want heroes, you want maps, you wanted a complete facelift of the game you know and love. We're going to bring that all to you in the next 12 months, and we are going to see Ferocious, obviously, and ASV both locking in the Vendetta there, and this is certainly a hero that I'm not sure exactly how overpowered it's going to be in some of these team settings, but I have gotten abused by players in solo queue on this hero.
Oh yeah, Vendetta is a monster. We're going to see the Sim TP coming out of spawn from inside of Purdue White. We're going to get things set up as we speak. Has the path, trying to set things up, trying to find a way in and able to try and make something happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see which one of these Vendettas. Obviously, it's not the whole team, but it's kind of that new toy that we like to play with, especially the first couple weeks. And I know Vendetta did get a very tiny nerf to some of the damage and some of the abilities, but ultimately, this is one of these hero carries that you need a lot of CC and a lot of hard focus to lock them down. Otherwise, you see 4 Vendettas in the feed back-to-back like that.
Yeah, and the Zarya, no surprises here. Zarya syncs up really well with Vendetta because Vendettas want to be aggressive. They want to look for combos. And, what's going to help you survive through a lot of that without having to get out quickly is going to be those bubbles. So it's no shock to see that we'll see both these teams going this route.
Yeah, and then obviously you have the lamp coming in for the side of Purdue, so Xana can just toss that down, maybe in a pinch as well, give everybody that last little second that they need to stay alive, but Chicken Fries is going to cut down ASV early on said Zarya, and it took a big, long team fight, but we are finally getting capture. Carthage are going to be the ones first to the break, and now you've got the Zarya running down the rest of the backliner. Chicken Fries, see if they can at least find something else going, and yeah, it is going to be a few more kills going over to the side of Carthage, a nice little kill streak, and they are racking up some percentage.
I will say you unfortunately lose that fight, and you're giving up a lot of percentage if you decide to Purdue White, but you did get Chicken Fries on your way out, so they don't get out with all of that charge, which is one of the reasons why Chicken Fries was running amok, was because he was such high charge, just able to melt people on that Zarya. So now they're going to have to look to reset that as ZCX gets a big opening pick. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all... Oh, yeah, it's going to be it's about finding those early picks and try to create some advantage any way you can. Unfortunately for Purdue, you are getting absolutely ran in the spawn. That is a team kill. No one even able to get an ultimate online to attempt any sort of hero play. Carthage able to lock every single avenue down, and now as these check marks build up for the side of the Firebirds, they are going to be sitting pretty for the next fight.
You have to keep in mind, folks, that there is the UI bug for the colors of the kill feed, so just keep that in mind. Just listen to our calls. We will make sure to get that right, as we do have the Vendetta ults coming in from both of these teams, which can be so deadly. Here we go.
Yeah, Feroz just trying to line something up there, seeing if they can get anybody zoned off or at least do a little bit of damage. Nothing really doing on the early ultimate, but the beat drop from Purdue, and now the Graviton will follow up, so every team, or both teams, they're going to decide to go for heavy investments in the rest of this team fight. ZXC still sitting on an overclock. ASV is able to find a kill on the opposing venture with the ultimate, and there is the overclock out of ZXC, able to shut down the opposing Sojourn online, deciding to not pop the overclock, and luckily for them, Purdue able to win the fight at the very last moment, and now they finally get a capture.
Yeah, his power went crazy in that fight on the Vendetta. Was able to make the ultimate work and then combo that with some good kills in the end. Carthage is coming back with that Kitsune Rush, so online has to be ready to use this overclock at the drop of a beat.
Yeah, this could be a fantastic zoning tool. You've got a little bit of space to play around with the slide jump as well. So online, you got to value that life and value that ultimate. So Raisin's not quite to the Graviton yet. The Kitsune Rush just a little bit away from being online as well. And
Excuse
the
me?
Zarya's going to end... yeah, I'm not even sure how that may have happened, especially on this map and where they're fighting, but Raisin is down for the count, and that is just a death sentence for Purdue.
Oh no, they definitely killed themselves with their own mortar, but it didn't even look like there was a big fight coming out that was going to cause that to happen. You see Saracen having to go over to the defense to try and touch, but not able to get there in time. The stalls and boops coming in from the Firebirds, able to give them the first point and go up 1-0 on Busan.
Yeah, Purdue showed a nice little second effort there. They won a nice team fight at the end. They were able to shut down Chicken Fries once or twice, which definitely felt good. But then ultimately, yeah, I mean, honestly, all was going well until the Zarya had a bit of an oopsie. If that Zarya stays alive and can stay a little bit healthy, you can push that to 60-70% before the ultimate chain rolls through. And you know what? Unfortunate things happen sometimes. Certainly one that you want to have back if you're Purdue, but you do get a second round to have another crack at it. So Raisin still locking in the Zarya. Vendettas are going nowhere. And we've got the Kiri Lucy backline like we normally see.
Yeah, as we do see, as you mentioned, Sandbox, who was on the Baptiste for a lot of that first map, now just realizing the power of that Kiriko. There's a reason why she's been one of the best supports in the game since coming out, and now they're going to match that. So that might give them that much needed sustained power, and just having that Suzu available can be a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Yeah, Kiriko is essentially the ultimate. It ain't broke, so don't fix it. Just play the hero. It is strong. It has basically been broken since release. Just use it. It is quite good. And speaking of good, Ferocious Pig able to scoop up a double kill, taking down Xana and online, and that gives Carthage all the advantage they could ever ask for. Only ASV and Hats with the two left standing, and then even the Lucio not able to escape. So a quick team fight win for the Firebirds, and now they can go on the offensive again.
Yeah, again, Carthage is just, you know, they're just go, green light, green light. Ferocious is constantly harassing this backline on the side of Purdue White, and that's kind of how you have to play it with this Vendetta. Either they need to trade backlines, or they have to turn and peel for the Ferocious who keeps going after the backline.
Yeah, Vendetta, especially say even just joking about getting slammed by it in solo queue, like this is a hero that if someone is really, really good with skill expression, their mobility is insane. You can definitely find some good plays, but Carthage right there, it is just teamwork making the dream work. Purdue seemingly having no chance in the fight. They only take down Jumpy. Everybody else healthy and alive, nearly a scratch on them. The ultimate's just slowly but surely building up for both sides as well, but Purdue obviously starting down 50%.
As ZXC has built up that rail shot, ready to shoot at any point. Ferocious 10% away from the Vendetta ultimate. Let's see what Purdue White's going to do to rotate this time.
Yeah, they don't have any ultimates to go for any sort of engage, so if Carthage can get Ferocious's online a few seconds earlier, could potentially just go try to make some sort of hero play, but Purdue right now, they're going to cause a skirmish around the point. They're trying to contest, but Hats is just getting absolutely slammed. The Swordsmith trying to go to work on the back line now. Purdue yet again falling one by one throughout the feed. Carthage, only one support again dying in the fight. No ultimates required, and Carthage able to reset that progress back to nil, and they are looking good for the end.
Yeah, that's kind of what you mentioned. The most important part is they're able to win these fights with zero ult commitment whatsoever. So they're going to be able to have 4 or 5 ultimates coming into this fight while Purdue. So they're going to be able to match Purdue with a great grab.
Oh, right into the bear trap. They tried to Kitsune onto the point. The Graviton pulls them all in to try to slow him down. Now Xana's going to pop a late Kitsune. ASV is going to take to the skies and see if they can make anything happen. But unfortunately, ZXC and Chicken Fries are absolutely slamming all of Purdue White. They get thrown through a table on map 1 you saw, and that was fantastic work out of the Firebirds. And definitely was hoping that we'd see the Vendetta. I didn't know if I was delusional for thinking it was a little bit overtuned in solo queue, but I feel like my fears are being justified.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about coming into this how both teams have always done really well making playoffs. Carthage tends to always find themselves within the top 3, whether grand finals, losers finals, whatever. They just showed it. They came in and they made a huge statement. They just smashed the hammer with the nail. They said, hey, this Vendetta role, we got this figured out, and we are here to win Division 3. And again, great opening statement. So as we continue forward through the rest of the series, question is where do bans go? What maps do we go to? Because now the map control is in Purdue White's favor.
Yeah, that's one of the more fun things about Overwatch 2 is that even though Vendetta has been out for a little bit, so people have had a little bit of time to lab and ranked, and otherwise it's honestly a knowledge gap with like the first month the heroes out. It feels like everyone's kind of figuring out the correct way to play it for the most part. Otherwise, besides maybe watching OWCS, so sometimes just figuring out a few niche things that work on the hero a little bit sooner than others can lead to a nice little size and skill gap. And right there, Ferocious was definitely popping off on it. It just shows you, I mean, for anyone that maybe hasn't seen the hero as often, it just shows you if you don't have hard CC or something to lock this hero down and you're playing against a very strong player with good movement, it feels like you're fighting 2 DPS at the same time when you're getting run down.
Yeah, that's kind of why you know having the Kiri is also important because yeah, you're going to get harassed by a Vendetta. So Kiri Lucio have 2 of the best just mobility as support players. Kiri has the TP, obviously. Lucio got the wall riding and the speed boost to be able to get around and get out of situations. So being able to have very mobile backlines are important. So we kind of talked about it how the net is important because she's just busted. Zarya's got the bubbles to enable her even further. And then Sojourn again has the ability to slide away from any vendettas coming after and then the rail shot, has the chance to kill the vendetta. That or Sojourn's just always been a very solid.
Yeah, mobile with the ability to just absolutely rail you down. Yeah, 200 plus, and maybe we're gonna see some things too. I guess some counters that kind of just top of my head, something maybe like a really good Sombra player, something like the Echo, where you can just, I'm done, I'm getting out of here, I don't want anything to do with the fight, I'm taking to the sky. So, and maybe seeing the Freya get banned away as well. I believe Purdue may have banned that, but I could see that being another hero where it's just, okay, try to get me, I'm gonna be zigzagging all around the sky, and it's another hero that is very, very hard to lock down. So I think we're gonna see some pretty diverse matchups going forward. And I don't know if that Atlas map was real or if we got baited, but I did see that for a half second.
I mean, if it was Atlas, I would expect the exact same compositions to come through once again. Atlas is a ground and pound type map where Zarya Vendetta is going to reign supreme. It looks like it is real. So I expect more of the same out of these teams. The only thing that could change are whatever the bans that come in from both of these teams. But I love Atlas. I want to see more of it. I actually have not casted an Atlas map since it came out, so very excited to do that.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say, I don't think that we ended up getting it at all throughout the entire time. And yeah, Purdue, respect banning Vendetta. I certainly agree with the decision, even if, right, maybe Vendetta is not necessarily the biggest problem, but it can be the biggest problem, and it is an annoying problem to deal with. So much easier to just send her on her way, move on to the next. And we are talking about a little more brawl style. We do see a Junker Queen picked up for Sarazen, Symmetra getting scooped up in the early going for online, and Chicken Fries, no reason to swap after that performance.
Oh yeah, Chicken Fries was farming on the Zarya, so it's no surprise. Which is really interesting because the Junker Queen and the Zarya matchup, it is because like ideally you think on your head, you know, Junker Queen relies on the bleed very heavily, but Zarya can just cleanse that. Excuse me. But if you're extremely patient and just wait out those bubbles, you can really play the Zarya pretty well. So it's just going to depend on how these teams play it out.
Yeah, everybody always thinks that Overwatch is a 24/7 fistfight. Sometimes it's playing the patient game, waiting 4 seconds for that cooldown to go online, and then all of a sudden, that's your perfect window to try to go for an execute. We do see Ferocious now just going to be picking up the Reaper, so this is certainly a absolute demon that can get to your backline, can rip these supports to shreds. We do see both of the tanks actually trading in the early going, so the Queen going to find some early value. We do see Sarazen looking to zone off the rest of Carthage as we get going, but it looks like Carthage very close to securing the point, but not able to get it.
That they are not, as Carthage will eventually get the point, as they just have the Zarya just continuing to be able to get charged, and we're going to see picks from both sides going back and forth, and no one's been able to settle this. Yes, Holster gets 2.
Yeah, the DPS, Kiri, and then Ferocious and Jumpy getting involved onto the action. That's a 5-kill streak for the Reaper. So Ferocious clearly showing if you give me any DPS that has any sort of playmaking, I'm going to be able to take us to the promised land. Chicken Fries gets another stagger onto online. That's going to feel a little bit bad for the side of Purdue White. And now everybody looking to get ready and get stacked up, but Ferocious Pig, basically a bomb waiting on the other side of the pillar, and yep, 100 to 0's the Lucio. Now you're going to try to run down the Kiri. Ferocious still trying to maneuver through the back line, and actually able to get away with double murder, finally taken out. But Carthage is essentially at 100 points here, 100%.
Yeah, their team was backing him up pretty well. Eventually they get down, getting Sarazen there, all but seals up this first point capture for the side of Carthage. Is they're going to just have to, if you're Purdue White, you just need to take your lumps, move on to the next point. You're still, as we see online, immediately swapping over to the Reaper, which is going to, you know, provide that frontline damage to help put onto the Zarya. I think it's going to be a good swap here, but Ferocious going to have this Death Blossom online. Yep. Let's see what they can do with it.
That's the only caveat. I like that online does go for an early swap. I always say about how I hate the late panic swaps. But the thing is, you didn't get your overclock online, and now you have to restart at 25%, and you said it perfectly. They have Graviton and Death Blossom for whenever they decide to set that sucker up. So right now, Carthage, I mean, they definitely have the advantage going in. Online is going to be the first one taken down yet again. The Rampage is going to go through and connect onto a few, and actually does get the Death Blossom. The Ferocious shut down, so Purdue White's main tank taking everything into their own hands, and now you're going to get a little bit of sustain from the back line, but there's ZXC waiting in the wings with the overclock, but Sarazen still able to stay here and contest the point, even though it is looking a little bit grim.
I will say overall for the side of Purdue, I think you will take that. I mean, it was a 3-for-2 trade, but getting both the DPS and the grab out of the way is going to be a big deal. The thing is, for your incoming blade, they will have beat to be able to match that. So that's one thing that's going to be a little dangerous, especially since Hollister can also put a Kitsune Rush after that. So they do have a lot of tools here. And again, Ferocious just keeps finding these hiding places and keeps surprising them. You can't keep letting this happen. You have to know Ferocious is going for these.
Yeah, the call came from inside the house. Unfortunately, they are not up on their Ghostface lore. That Reaper was chilling. 4 people essentially do not see them. And that is the result that you are going to get 10 out of 10 times against a strong DPS player. And now it is a conga line into the Purdue White spawn. Carthage right now, they are basically tap dancing on their graves. They are nowhere close to contesting the C point. And look who it is hiding in a side room.
Yeah, as they gotta be prepared for these kinds of things. We're gonna see the TP coming in from online, gets blown up by Hollister.
Okay, Ferocious didn't get away with it fully this time, although, despite me saying that, his team actually just decided to W game, and so that B drop, that's essentially going to be wasted property. That's going to be the second point over to the Firebirds. The B drop is no longer with us, and now it's going to be a 2-0 lead in the Flashpoint, a few more late staggers just for the fun of it, and Carthage right now, they are absolutely dialed in on week 1.
That's a huge mistake to me because not having that beat drop now, because you would have needed it for the incoming grab. And even if you didn't have that grab coming up, you're going to beat your blade. So you want to be able to match that beat and be able to push forward anyway. There's the grab, no beat.
Yeah, here goes the absolute combination. Fists are flying. All of Purdue is dying. The only one alive is the Kiriko. And that's not going to mean a whole lot when you are getting run down, my friend. Purdue, that is the trigger that Carthage wanted to pull on them. Absolute combination, sets them up, locks them down, takes them out swiftly. And Carthage, as I said, they are well on their way to securing a victory if things hold.
Yeah, and Purdue, they still do have a lot of ultimates at their disposal to be able to use, but Carthage has just been slowly building them back. Like, we've seen Aspow, who's had this blade for a while, we're already at a point where they have another Death Blossom and another Overclock.
See Xana going for the engage with the Kitsune, and I think maybe online tried to go in for the Death Blossom, but it was a great job of Carthage spotting them out, and now you send the bubble onto Ferocious, the Death Blossom goes through, Hats is going to get shut down, and now you've got the front line getting absolutely shredded by Chicken. But speaking of the blade, ASV finally getting their hands dirty, trying to see if they can at least keep the game alive. Ferocious possibly going to have some Reaper antics here. Ferocious makes a nice read on that one, wins the 1v1, and that is going to be Carthage scooping up the point yet again.
I will say, Purdue was able to steal 35% in there, which is a positive sign. But I think Carthage did the right thing, is put yourself in a good position to win the fight. Who cares if they, steal some percentage out of you? Because all you got to do is win this point, and you are taking a 2-0 lead heading into the break.
Yeah, and Ferocious just going to go straight in yet again. A little bit of speed boost, some help from the squad, and instantly the Zarya is down for the count. And yeah, this Reaper is absolutely firing away on this map to Ferocious with the rest of the team as well. I mean, Carthage is essentially playing in formation as a 5-stack, and they are just taking out targets one by one like a swift and clean operation. The only one left, not able to find a touch, and Carthage, with their most dominant map so far between the two we have played, that Flashpoint, that was a quick one.
Yeah, Carthage is not messing around, continuing to make a huge statement to all of Division 3 that they are out for blood, looking to win this once again. And this Zarya, I mean, no vendetta, no problem is what the old adage, sure, maybe it's a new adage, it's vendetta, but yeah, no vendetta, no problem. Ferocious goes over to the Reaper. The Zar Reaper combination's a classic one.
Yeah.
So without vendetta, it's like, we go back to El Clasico, just put the Reaper in instead, and Ferocious went absolutely sicko mode. I just couldn't believe he kept continuously getting away with, I'm just hiding in a room here, and then would pop out and kill 2.
It was the best thing ever, because 2 or 3 of the times doesn't even change the corner they're hiding and just says, you know what, I'm going right back to the same bookcase that I was next to. And then the other time it's like, okay, I'm going to move 10 feet to the other side of the room into this corner where they can't see me. And yeah, literally just getting away with murder over and over again. And what a world for DPS to live in. Oh, I can't play my shiny new Vendetta? Guess I'll load up the Reaper and lock in with the Zarya and still be able to run everybody down with these new perks. So definitely a great game out of the whole side of Carthage. And that, we are going to go to a quick break. We're going to see Purdue, possibly your last chance of the evening in week 1 of D3, to see what map, what mode, what ban you want to lock in to try to extend the series just a little bit for us. More NECC Division 3 coming to y'all in just a few. A very short break, just like we enjoy it. Let's roll on through the rest of the series. Purdue and Carthage, they are getting squared off and ready to hop into possibly our last map of the series. Carthage right now, looking every bit of the reputation they built up last semester and the previous years of just being a damn good team with very sound players at every single position. They're up to a clinical 2-0 lead over Purdue, and we do have a few of the bans to get you guys early as we square off as I said, possibly our last map, this map 3.
Yeah, we do know it is going to be Shambali Monastery for what you mentioned, what could be the final map. Purdue has chosen to take in us here, which I think is going to be an interesting one. Shambali can be very Ram centric, can be very Sig centric, but with how good Zarya Vendetta is, it wouldn't surprise me if these teams continue to play that on this map. As we can see the bans on screen, no Zarya for the side of Carthage, as Purdue White has decided to ban that, and no Sojourn for the side of for the ban on the side of Carthage.
Yeah, I guess Carthage noticing that online had really been playing mostly in obviously mixed results, but it played a lot of the Sojourn in the first 2 maps. Obviously goes for a late mirror mode matchup to the Reaper. It doesn't necessarily go that well, so they're obviously not going to be that scared of the Reaper. So now the Tracer is potentially that option. ASV is going to be picking up the Freya. We saw them have a few nice moments on the Genji, just a little bit less impact as a team, obviously. Ferocious, you already know what time it is. They're hopping on the Vendetta.
Woohoo!
And I think banning away the Zarya was obviously a good choice, and it is just pick your poison for Purdue because we know Carthage has a very deep bag, and now we get to see Ball and Vendetta in tandem.
Yeah, I question if the ball's actually going to come out. We just don't see that a lot. And Lucio, Kiri, it looks like, yeah, they're going to go Diva, which Diva's going to be interesting. You just basically got to watch your sightlines, especially on the rock against the Sigma. But outside of that, as long as you play your angles pretty well, you should have a good time. And with Aspau, who's on the Freya now, I mean, Diva can just eat those shots up.
Yeah, and speaking of playing angles, ZXC is just looking for that one player from Purdue to step 8 pixels out of position. And this Widowmaker can certainly change a fight in an instant, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on as well. Obviously, once Purdue finds out the Widow's there, they're able to play around it. There is a lot of cover on Shambali as well, so certainly some areas to play around. Ferocious is going to go right to the backline, and now you're going to send in the Diva. Is going to get knocked down, though. That's going to be Chicken Fries. A little bit low on HP, not quite into the remax. ZXC is going to find the pick, but in the same breath, Chicken Fries is going to get put into Baby Diva.
And Ferocious going down from online. Make things difficult, especially because you get staggered on the Baby Diva. There's not really anywhere you could jump off the edge, so you have to either go back to spawn and swap, or just farm your Baby Diva form back. And Chicken Fry is going to go over to the Ramatra now, which is not surprising here. As I mentioned, Ramatra is the 2 main choices on this map. ZXC now going to get off the Widow and go over to the cast to try and help deal with online on this Tracer.
Yeah, it was a wholesale switch out of Carthage. Jumpy's going to hop over onto the Wu Yang as well. So they're like, listen, we don't really like how this comp's going. Let's just full change it right now while it's early in the game. And we're going to maybe like our chances a whole lot better. And this time, things are going much, much better. That brawl comp certainly proving some good results there at the end. Carthage, they switch 3 heroes and they pick up a team kill not 15 seconds later.
Yeah, the Wu carries a very strong support line, because obviously Kiri is Kiri, but Wu is able to add extra poke, give that passive healing stream onto any of your players, but in this case it's probably going to be Ferocious most of the time, being able to go to that backline and still have that passive healing. And Wu's just in a very good spot.
Ferocious is playing PvE and just sitting in flank angles and camping in corners. This is hilarious that it keeps working. This time they brought a teammate with them. They found a few kills. We do see it forces Sarazen to burn the ultimate as well, so the Graviton Flux certainly probably didn't want to use it that early, but circumstances have called for it. ASV is able to find the kill onto ZXC, so possibly a sign of life for Purdue. The window's going to get burned, and instantly Xana's going to get taken down with it, though. And there's the pulse bomb. Will be not hitting anything. And Carthage right now, it is a bloodbath.
Yeah, once they get going, man, Ferocious has just absolutely been running this series map to map to map, whether it's Vendetta or Reaper. They have been dominating, and they won that again with 0 ult commitment. Sarazen had used the Flux, Xanabox used that. I mean, they used everything.
They used
everything. Sarazen now going and matching the Ram, but man, that was not a great fight for Pretty White at all. They used way too many ultimates.
Yeah, Carthage, I think they literally just decided if we just play like we're tied to a tether together and we just hands check the other team, we are going to be in a fantastic position. And so far, that appears to be true. Ferocious just being an absolute demon against this Tracer online. Unfortunately, there's quite literally nothing you can do about that. You just have to take the L with grace. And yet again, Carthage, 3 ultis invested, 5 kills secured, and they will essentially get this next checkpoint. It maybe will be a last-second stall out of Purdue, but it's basically sealed.
And this tells you everything you need to know, by the way, Jobin. Like, they used 3 ultimates there, and they're still going to have the advantage if they want to come in late stall here, or, you know, this next fight coming up, because it's still going to be 2-1 in the ult advantage for Carthage. They're going to use the bubble here. ZXC, I mean, they're already finding kills.
Yeah, and they killed the tank first, which means that things are looking a little bit grim. Chicken Fries does get traded in the crossfire, but if you're Carthage, that is a noble sacrifice. The Ramatra falls on the sword for the team, and everybody else just scoops up the easy kills. And Purdue right now just in a constant state of on the back foot. They cannot move. The second Carthage spots a pixel of the opposing team, it is all guns blazing.
Yeah, and they're still in a situation where it's Bola versus their Vendetta ult, so they still are even in the ult exchange here, as Ferocious doesn't even need to use it. They've been putting enough pressure with just the Vendetta not needing the ult at all.
Yes, I'm waiting for them to decide to finally make that huge play. Ferocious going to take to the skies, try to line something up. Not able to, but that's only because ZXC takes down half of the team in the meantime, and now the Vendetta can still go to work on the back line. This Cassidy, though, ZXC really putting in work these last few fights. The Deadeye is going to be expended fully. Eventually, the Sombra will come for a cleanup kill for Purdue, but Carthage, 2:55 on the clock, and they run through Shambali.
And this tells you everything you need to know about Ferocious and how to play Vendetta. That final fight, you know, all these kills happen, the ult comes, you know, they get a bunch of damage onto the Ram pops form. She swings at the Ram twice, but realizes, no, I do not need to be going after the Ram. Immediately turns head, goes after the supports, goes after the squishies, kills them quickly, and there's nothing Purdue could do in that situation. And now their backs are against the wall. 3 minutes and counting from Carlos. We have to keep in mind, you know, they spent like half their time being like 2 minutes of it on, you know, not the comp that they were out. So imagine if they came out with this to begin with, it would have been messy. So Purdue has to find some answers. This is their last opportunity. They have to cap all these points, and they have to go to extras at this point.
Yeah, that was a good point. Carthage did essentially, I don't want to say punted the first team fight because they certainly thought what they had was going to work, but that wasn't obviously the comp that they were most comfortable on or that they liked the most, because what they drafted up there for round 2 was absolutely stellar, and they literally did not stop moving after the draft change. So Carthage now absolutely pole position to win this, and Purdue, I mean, not only do you have to win the map, 2:55 is still a more than respectable time. You've got to play damn good, especially here off of the break. If Carthage is able to get 2 to 3 team fight wins in the early going, it is going to be a possibly good night early. Look at that. I love this.
As the Rhine Sim Vendetta comp is just holding close to the point like this. Let's see how much time they can burn off the clock, because this is a very, you know, all-in composition, and they're just trying to waste as much time as possible.
Oh my goodness, they literally box trapped them in the corner. They let Purdue walk to the cart, and then they absolutely pulled up. They Maywalled everybody off, and they just, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, literally. They just had them all huddled up in the corner for warmth. Unfortunately, it was the cold embrace of the Vendetta sword and that Rhine frontline in Carthage. Yet again, I love these cheeky little spots they're playing.
We just see Xanabox going over to that Ana, trying to get antis in there to try and break this spawn hold as quickly as possible. That's going to help. Ferocious goes down. What a great swap over to the Ana.
Yeah, so Raisin now able to at least stretch their legs a little bit. The Ramatra picks up a few of the last kills, and finally, Purdue, and I think Carthage, right, even I think that was them having a little bit of fun, because doing that as the first play of the game, that's great. You do it twice in a row, you know that someone's going to have an answer for you. So definitely a bit of a heat check, but certainly was still pretty successful, considering that for Purdue, you at least get to get out of the spawn.
I was curious if they were all just going to look to die or, you know, and swap the comp, but they all got out. They get a huge charge onto Sarazen and then go back to the spawn room.
Yeah, the anti lands onto 2 into Ferocious and Chicken. Unfortunately, just not enough to get any more damage or sustain to finish off the kill. The Lamp's going to save the Reinhardt as well, so these cooldowns are being cycled very well by Carthage, and we've been saying it all series as well, but you can just see every single player, the second they need to make that play to keep one of the homies alive, they are just making it without hesitation.
Yeah, and again, they're putting all this pressure, and so far I've only used one ultimate. Purdue hasn't used anything, so they will have a slight advantage coming in, but Carthage has some big-time ultimates. Window, Blizzard, let's see, Blizzard comes out.
Oh. Yeah, this could be the start of something absolutely horrific for the side of Purdue. Hatsu's going to be the first one to fall, so the Wu Yang ult not going to be around. Nobody else going to get taken down from the Blizzard, but that is the ultimate zoning tool. And again, we talked about the time being the real issue. It's not only do you have to win the map, you had to have won this team fight about 2 minutes ago to have a great chance.
Yeah, the time bank, just at this point, it's not going to be super in their favor, but they have to make sure they can even get this first point. Let's see, they still have the Vendetta ult, but there's the Ram ult, there's the Nano, there's the Bubble. This is a big investment from Purdue.
They did take down Jumpy, and then the Ana actually doing a really good job against Ferocious. They did a great job of landing the sleep, landing the anti, honestly, about as well as an Ana can do in a 1v1 against the Vendetta. So give a lot of credit to Xana there for trying to at least keep that Vendetta a little bit downwind. But Carthage now, they're coming back with a few ultimates, and Purdue White, they are not going to be able to get this point in time before the contest.
Yeah, this window from Hollister, because of where the cart's going to be, can actually go pretty insane. It can force a lot of positioning, force a lot of people off of the card. The Vendetta ult comes out and it finds Sarazen.
Yeah, slam dunk onto Sarazen's head. Ferocious Pig gonna get hooked up with the lamp and a little bit of sustain there. The sleep's gonna connect. But in the meantime, you've got Chicken and Hots trading each other out with ASV. But then you've got that Mei, ZXC, playing so good on the Cassidy. And now the Mei just absolutely leveling some of these Purdue players. The Blizzard already going to be back online from the last team fight. And Purdue, I mean, right now it's you need online and ASV to just go turbo mode because you've got 20 seconds left.
Yeah, this is their last opportunity to get this point, but they're going to be facing down the barrel of a ZXC Blizzard. Let's see what they can do to try and mitigate and avoid this.
It's going to be Blizzard Shatter, which is quite a hard combo to try to play the game from. We are going to see the Deadeye used up early to take down the Baptiste, so Hollister not going to be around for the foreseeable future, but the Blizzard able to do the rest of the work. And oh yeah, there's still a Shatter waiting in the back pocket. Chicken just holding it for the perfect moment, a little bit of slash and dash, and Carthage Firebirds Red 3-0 in their first game of D3 to start off the 2026 season here at NECC. That was absolutely lethal.
Yeah, that was just a dominating series. Carthage, as we talked about, once again, just showing that they are here looking to win Division 3 and just put out a huge statement win. Obviously, lots of changes are coming next week with all the new heroes. A lot of work for these collegiate teams to be done, but Carthage has shown, you know, they have a lot of talent, a lot of flexibility, and they put in the work to do it. Let's see how the season goes, but this is a great opening gambit.
Yeah, and I guess considering all the changes that are coming, I know oftentimes, not that week one doesn't mean anything, but obviously it's kind of like the figure out process. But with so many changes coming, you got to pick up these wins everywhere you can, because who knows how good your team is going to be at what version of the game you're going to get in a month. And then maybe we're going to get another big update in 2 months, because so many changes, it's going to be a cascading effect of we need to fix A, so B, C get changed. That means we have to change D, and then this one's going to get fixed. So it's going to be a lot of work for these teams, like you said, to really just get in the lab, watch OWCS, get in practice, get in the training mode, and really start to lab everything. But Carthage, they've got this version of Overwatch 2 down on lock, it seems like, so I'm sure they're going to be honestly just excited to have more tools to play with going forward.
Yeah, so once again, congratulations to Carthage Firebirds Red getting their first win of the spring semester, going 1-0 so far in Division 3 and setting themselves up for what could be a dominating spring semester. We are going to take quite a long break. Just checking my watch. We got an hour and 15 until our next series, but it's going to be a good one. We're going into Division 1, and we got the UCSCA team going up against Northwestern, which they have been the surprise team of the semester. They came out of nowhere and made 2 big statement wins in the NECC matchup games to decide what division you're going into. We'll get their first peek at them right after this break, but don't go anywhere. It's going to be an hour and 15, 10 p.m. Eastern is when the next match will start. We'll be right back.
So far gone. Nothing cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used. good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. Oh, I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I stand back and I watch you explore in perfect visions like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many drinks got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're gone. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents, daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. I'm gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Come a cold blood, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and feel so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag, 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon.
I wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain, but I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe her, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm but can't seem to slow down. And I don't know if I want to.
All I seek to find is your
trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, cause I gotta get to you. I would climb 1,000 mountains, swim across the darkest ocean, cause I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, cause I gotta get to you. I gotta get to you.
started out as teasing, but I had deeper meaning when I touched your chest. Now I don't know how to act, but if I did,
only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb but first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds and no longer fear the worst. You were the calm to my storm. You could take the wind, and though the winter stood calm, weighing on our shoulders, these the ice could never breath us in. You were my horizon, but I didn't see it first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. You were my horizon, but I didn't see it first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve.
everybody, welcome back from our very extended break. Obviously, our Division 3 series between Carthage and Purdue White went the way of Carthage. It was a 3-0 clinical victory, but now we're going to climb the ladder a couple rungs. We're going to scale all the way up to Division 1, where we've got two schools that definitely want to make a name for themselves. And hey, what better place to start than week 1 at the top of the table?
Yeah, as I mentioned before the break, Northwestern, who's one of our two teams today, kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I'm part of the committee who ranks the collegiate teams for Overwatch, and we're talking about where we want to rank these different teams, and out of nowhere in the NECC placement games for divisions, Northwestern takes down Georgia Tech, and took down Warner as well. Those were two teams that were ranked, and Northwestern ended up getting ranked number 16th just based on how surprising and how big those upsets were. Going against UCSC, who has been one of those mainstay teams in Division 2, has now moved up to Division 1. No Zebra, who's been their tank for the longest time. So I'm really curious to see how this team has adapted.
Yeah, and just talking about Northwestern's kind of, I don't want to say totally unexpected journey, but it's kind of the trend that we saw last semester. You mentioned a team as in Warner, where we had a few schools that essentially, for lack of a better wording, they came out of the woodworks and just basically took over the collegiate league or collegiate scene by storm. And even if they didn't end up winning any national championships, we saw at least 4 or 5 schools where they came in, and even me and you saw Warner and went, whoa, that doesn't look like just a good Division X team. That just looks like a damn good Overwatch team. So I'm very excited to see if Northwestern can kind of keep that momentum rolling. Obviously, like you said, UCSC, when you got to the top division now, this is exactly what they were playing for last year. You want to get to Division 1. You want to play the best of the best. This should be a very even matchup, at least on paper.
Yeah, and we all will kick things off this time with the classic Lijiang Tower map number 1. And if it's anything like our last series, wouldn't surprise me if we're in for more Zarya. Then did I say that? But Vendetta has been ripped by UCSC as that first ban, while the response from Northwestern is to ban that Ramatra, which those are two heroes I could have expected pretty highly on a map like Lijiang Tower. So now my head, if we're going to play more ground and pound, goes more toward Azaria and Orisa, possibly a Mauga. But let's see where the teams are going to go. It looks like they are both going to go Zar. We do see currently Kimbus on that Reaper, which we saw that last series when Vendetta was banned, that the Reaper comes in with the Zar Reaper. Very classic composition. Northwestern, at least, they were highlighting the Genji with QWERTY. It's another, classic thing where the Genji wants to be just as aggressive as the Reaper and really does better with the bubbles. The Reaper just has a lot more damage, and the composition is definitely more potent with the Reaper. So I want to see how this goes.
And I mean, listen, a lot of these Genji players, I feel like if you're a really good Genji player, Vendetta is certainly something that's going to naturally fall into your wheelhouse. It's not the same play style, but it's very similar. It is get in your face, do as much damage as I can, assassinate one of the backline, and then fly out of there at max speed. So let's see exactly how the Genji versus Sojourn matchup. Obviously, you mentioned the Reaper coming in for Kimba, so a few variations here between the two comps. And so far, though, no one going to fall. A lot of chip damage going on to a few of the backline members. Requiem doing a great job to lock down the front line, and that's going to mean UCSC will scoop up a first.
Yeah, and again, we see Kimbus and the power of the Reaper already coming through strong, being able to throw down loads of damage onto Ronin. QWERTY, we saw them aggressively trying to go after Love on that Lucio, but the boots were there. The Genji just doesn't have, it's hard for the Genji to be able to get in and find these kills very quickly, especially with all the healing at the disposal for UCSC.
Yeah, Genji certainly can be a thorn in the side, but just that Vendetta, even though it does look a little flashier, the Vendetta just feels like you get a little more oomph, especially, right? It's a brand new hero. It has received a small nerf, but it's still damn strong. It's basically a release hero still, so definitely should be something to look out later in the series. Obviously not here now, but right now, UCSC, it was just a clinical, really methodical first 2 team fight wins, but when the backline gets shredded, I was about to say that means Northwestern, it is finally time to hit the go button. You finally find all the kills. A nice team kill too, so they pulled the trigger. They all connect well with each other, and that's going to force the Slugs to go on the respawn.
Nice patience coming out from Ronin, who got really high charged really early and got a lot of pressure on the Kimbas and forced them out, but they got low, but they were just patient, got their healing up, re-engaged, and the rest of their team with YT, all of them being able to find big time picks.
Oh yeah, that overclock to Kitsune, the beat, every single ultimate essentially getting unleashed here. QWERTY surviving with the Dragon's Blade, did get a reset, but eventually the overclock out of YT just a little bit too powerful with the combination of the damage out of Meek and Echo. That is UCSC sent packing back-to-back tries, and that's going to draw a swap out of QWERTY as well. They're going to pop over to the Mei now. Now that Northwestern is essentially the ones playing defense, I think that Mei is going to suit them very, very well on Lijiang.
Double support ultimates coming out from UCSCA, which is not going to be easy when you're facing down a grab in this next fight. But wow, YT gets the rail shot to an overclocking Super Gnome.
Yeah, and it looks like the rest of the team not in any better of a situation. The Sojourn is absolutely slamming. That was a triple or a quadra kill for Super Gnome. That is or for YT, sorry. That is exactly what you are looking for out of the Sojourn, and that is why it is a pick that is just as tried and true as any hero in Overwatch at this point. Just consistently good if you're in the right spots.
New situation with Northwestern where UCSC is going to have two big ultimates with the grab and the death blossom. Meek did get the sound very in time. Let's see.
Yeah, Graviton is going to go up. The wall's going to go up to try to split the fight a little bit, but the tank's going to get active a little bit. Requiem is going to be the one to draw first blood onto Ronin. The only exchange they find so far is through Kimbus, and now it is going to be UCSC forced to retreat, at least for the moment. Maybe YT, though, still could possibly get cooking. They've got a bit of a pincer maneuver here on a few of the players. The bubble's going to keep them alive for a moment, but QWERTY's going to invest the Blizzard, so Northwestern, they want to make sure they lock down this time as long as they can, but in the process of the fight, we did actually see that UCSC did flip the point.
They did 93% in counting as they get Kimbus. That's going to be the ghost side for Northwestern.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then we see a boop onto Super Gnome as well, so Meek, the Battle Lucio certainly getting active in the late going in Northwestern. UCSC with a hell of a counter punch there, but I think that may just be the round. Potentially one or two players maybe, but that may, well, yeah, that's going to be it.
Northwestern, UCSC, both coming out in this first map with some highlight plays, some great situations. UCSC, we're definitely getting good advantage with the Reaper Zarya combination. With Northwestern, who is being, a little bit more off meta, playing the Genji, playing the Mei, definitely had to find their angles and their opportunities a lot. It's a lot harder to make that composition work, but they found their moments and their opportunities and made it happen. So I'd be curious to see now that we're heading in. It looks like Gardens that we were heading to next. Are we going to continue to see the Mei out of Northwestern? Or are they going to make any kind of adjustments? As we can already see coming out from the Slugs, Kimbus getting off the Reaper, going over to the Echo, because this is Gardens. You got more rain and control of the skies.
Yeah, and I want to see UCSC. Can you lock down YT? I saw 5.5k damage, 19 eliminations, no deaths. That was a flawless plus round for the Sojourn. Obviously, Northwestern played around the DPS extremely well, made sure they were staying facilitated. But just the shots, you saw the triple kill in the last round. You see a lot of great shots going out early as well. Takes a lot of chunk damage out of the Echo, but then you've got QWERTY there to support the Echo duel. It's going to be won by Northwestern, and they're going to scoop up a few more kills. Super Gnome down to 1 HP, looking to escape, and now QWERTY going to fly in on the Echo, absolutely kick in the front door, force that Kiriko back to the spawn, and Northwestern locking down the first fight with 2 more kills from Ronin.
This entire Northwestern team is starting to make their names known. I know from here on out in collegiate, QWERTY, YT, Ronin, Meek, Echo, we're going to remember those as this NECC season continues to grow and deliver. But for the side of Northwestern, they're just playing aggressive, man. QWERTY is just showing so much flexibility. We've already seen 3 different heroes out of them.
True, yeah, honestly, I say, throughout they played something up, they played the Genji and then into the Mei and then now obviously onto the Echo, and honestly finding the same high level of success on all of them. There was no noticeable drop-off from the Mei. It was all situational. Listen, we're playing defense now, I gotta bust out the Mei. I need mobility on this point, I'm gonna bust out the Echo, and then they're gonna rip apart the entire team. Yeah, that was an absolute combination from QWERTY and crew, and the ultimate still sitting online. Northwestern winning a clean round of fight there, and every single ultimate slowly creeping up for him.
Yeah, that duplicate was the first one to get online for QWERTY. The question is who they look to dupe here. Obviously, this double Zarya could go insane. Is exactly what they're going to do.
And then Echo's going to draw blood in the fight to take down Super Gnome. Requiem's going to get taken down as well. YT still back there shooting. And yep, what's more dangerous than one Zarya? How about a second one potentially? That is going to be Northwestern finding a few more kills. Meek and YT are getting absolutely active right now, and UCSC, they've just got to basically pop this Kitsune rush. Kimbus needs to get a good replicate, and they just need to go.
80% and counting for Northwestern, so UCSC has to get moving now, but Courtney found Super Gnome.
Yeah, that is the 5th or 6th fight where Courtney instantly finds the first blood. It was with the grenade combo that time, the explosives paying off. Now you're going to force a Northwestern beat. Well, I guess they're just going to decide to use the beat drop, hold them back at the spawn, and basically call game on this team fight. UCSC doesn't even get to use 2 of their ultimates in the entire round. Talk about Northwestern turning up the temperature there right at the end.
We talked about Carthage making a statement. That was another statement made by Northwestern. As we talked about in the preamble, they have come out of nowhere and have been putting their stamp on Collegiate I mean, we're talking about a landscape of Collegiate, no more Redbirds, so we know the #1 team is just not existing anymore. So the field is pretty wide open. I mean, you still got your top teams like your Northwoods, your Fishers, your St. Clairs of the world. But outside of that, the field is open and Northwestern is taking advantage and they are showing out so far. Cordy being a big highlight of this team.
Yeah, and the big thing for a lot of these teams, and this goes more so especially in Division 1, because the margins of error are virtually non-existent against so many teams. So anytime you have a matchup like this where theoretically, like I said, kind of even on paper, neither one of these teams is necessarily a national championship contender, at least as of now. And these are 2 teams that are probably going to be scrapping to fight for a playoff spot or try to sneak in at the last minute. So make sure you rack up these wins, play well against the teams, beat the teams that you should beat. If you're Northwestern, this has got to be your mindset going into the map 2 and the map 3, but they looked very, very good on that Lijiang, and that round 2 especially, to see them just have a bit of, I don't want to say a rough round, it was very competitive, a bit fist fighty, and then round 2 they're just like, flick the switch, we got them.
Yeah, once they got rolling, it was hard for them. Like the first team fight was a little rough playing the Genji, and it took them a minute to get their footing. But as I mentioned, I mean, once they had the momentum, they very little let that go and had a great first map. But now the power gets shifted into the Slugs' favor. They get to pick what map they want out of the entire field. And then we got obviously bans coming online. We talked about, you kind of mentioned it, if you're good at Genji, there is a good chance you have picked up that Vendetta character. So that is now going to be available for the rest of this series for the side of Northwestern.
And that's the interesting thing. It's like, I know obviously you have YT and then you had Courtney as well, but seeing what they did on the Sojourn, I just wonder, because these players, I know obviously the Sojourn is flashy and it worked really well with that comp, but when I see a player just able to take over a map like that so easily and find these targets when they need to, isolate them, find the railgun shots, I'm like, what are they going to be able to do when they get any of these other heroes in their hands as well? Because now it's
YT literally hit a rail shot on an overclocking enemy Sojourn. Like, it was absolutely disgusting. I agree. I mean, we don't know if they play the Vendetta. We're just theorizing based on the Genji, but they get that at their disposal, pairing that with YT, Sojourn, and Ronin, Zarya. That has looked picture perfect so far. This could be bad news for the Slugs. So they got to figure out something, a good map. Maybe you go to a map where Zarya's not as good, a dive-oriented map like a Gibraltar, maybe like a Hollywood. And if you're going to go to a brawl map, maybe you ban the Zarya and try and make the Vendetta's job that much harder because they won't have bubbles at their disposal.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially for the Slugs, just trying to find some sort of adjustment. And I do think there was a few bright spots to take away from Lijiang. They won a few really clean fights where they just walked up, comboed everything perfectly, and basically everyone just gets wiped away in an instant. But it's winning the 3rd and 4th fight after Northwestern finally gets those ultis. They finally get the angle they're looking for. YT creates some space for themselves. So Esperanza is going to be map 2. So the Slugs, obviously some level of comfortability or just something that they like, maybe a look that they've seen in scrims or otherwise, but definitely interested to see exactly how they're going to come out now, what band they're going to want to try to come through, because Overwatch, right, okay, it is going to be the Zarya, so you did call it. I was going to say, Zarya is obviously annoying on every single map, but there's so many good heroes in Overwatch. It's like, ban one, get rolled by another.
Yeah, I think the thing with Esperanza, though, is it is considered much more of a dive-oriented map where you play more Winston Diva, but it's not like you must play dive like a Gibraltar, so you can still play Zarya. So I think for the Slugs, coming to this map where it's mostly dive, but you can play other things, and just getting rid of this other thing that Northwestern can play, it's going to force it more into situations they want to play, which seems like it might be more dive oriented. Maybe they play their Amateur because we, saw that, but I think it was a well-picked map and ban coming out from the Slugs. Gives them the best chance to make something happen.
Yeah, and Zarya, I feel like, honestly, like the best Zarya player, I feel like more so than other heroes, you just have so much influence on the game, and you can really just be the most annoying person in the server. Anyone that's played Overwatch, you know exactly what I'm talking about when there's that 22-0 Zarya that no one can seem to kill for whatever reason, and she ends up just running everything and then some. So Northwestern, we are going to see the Vendetta YT. I love that they're sticking on the Sojourn. Honestly, if that's going to be your quote-unquote hit scan DPS, what a person to put in that role. Requiem is going to hop over to the Ramatra. We are going to see Love My Mom scooping up the Wu Yang, and Kimpus from the Reaper to the Tracer.
I will say I did not have Sigma with Vendetta on my bingo board. It's going to make things very interesting because Sigma is very, let me keep my distance and let me poke, while Curdy on the Vendetta is like, I want to get in there and slash some things, man. It's very it's like very opposing ideas of how they want to play.
Yeah, I almost wonder if them picking the Sigma was just assuming that the Slugs were going to lock in Vendetta, because theoretically the Rock with Sigma can be very, very annoying for her. You basically just get to shut down her dive. So maybe they were trying to predict a Vendetta. Maybe Ronan really just does like playing Sigma gaming, and Sigma can be very, very powerful as well if the team's playing around it, and if you're able to find kills like that. It doesn't take a whole lot of pizzazz to win the team fight. Northwestern, they get everything they are looking for, and then some. Only one player left alive. Ramatra down. Team kill for Northwestern.
Yeah, I feel like with the Slugs in the competition they're playing with the Ram and the Tracer, you need to look and get on top of this backline and put pressure on the Sigma. You cannot give Ronan space just to free fire and have all this space. Well, that's what the Sigma wants. You cannot continue to give them exactly that.
Kimbus going to decide to go over to the Genji now, so maybe what you said, trying to get to the back line, isolate one of these supports out, make the Sigma's life a little bit harder to stay alive. Obviously not a very mobile hero, but speaking of mobile, Purdy, that is, yeah, you can get 100-0 from this hero at any given time, so that Vendetta's got to be tracked the entire time. YT is going to win the opposing duel on the Sojourn. Supernome not able to make up for that one. Kimbus and LJ, though, that is what you're looking for out of the UCSC DPS. They're able to find the kills, and they're able to slowly push that robot back to their side, but Northwestern, they got more than enough to hold on, and the Kitsune will be the opening tool.
Now they're going to flux as well to try and put some pressure. They get the Wu Yang, they're looking for more.
Yeah, that was a nice shot out of the air with Ronan. The rocks go flying, and now we're going to see a Kitsune out of LJ. UCSC, they had like their chances in this extended fight, but Northwestern's health bars have all been fully replenished and then some. And speaking of health replenished, he's going to pop the ultimate, so that means Qwerty's got a whole lot of health to deal with, a lot of sustain on the Vendetta. YT, of course, still shooting straight. And Northwestern, yet again, once they get that last stagger on the Ramatra, it is another team fight win for them.
That was super unfortunate for the Slugs. They had a great re-engage with their Kitsune rush. Unfortunately, Kimbus just got railed by YT.
Yeah.
It just, it was basically the fight was done and over at that point. No value out of the rush. Northwestern able to live, and that's all she wrote. YT's now going to have an overclock as well. But Love has been holding on to this bubble. Could be a nice defensive tool to deal with that overclock.
Ooh,
wow,
that's
that,
how you deal. I mean, listen, that's a heat check on the Vendetta where I'm expecting to see a lot of those this semester, honestly. Maybe less so as it goes on, but listen, this is some of the first time these players get to stretch their legs in an official with Vendetta, so I'm fully expecting a few oopsies here and there. Northwestern still in firm control of the game, but it did give the Slugs some momentum that they were desperately trying to find.
As maintaining control of these high grounds can be very important. There goes the annihilation on the side of the Slugs.
Yeah, the overclock out of Supernova as well. They're going to see if they can find any last-second picks, but it looks like YT, from the opposing head glitch, actually able to take down the Wu Yang. So it's going to be one player dead apiece, but Ronan being down means that I don't know if Northwestern actually has a great angle into the backline, but when the Ramatra's getting executed by the Vendetta, Qwerty's just able to take over the fight, and Northwestern, everything that went wrong has been corrected in 7 sword swipes.
And you can see why they banned the Vendetta on map number 1. Qwerty is just a maniac. I mean, sometimes flies a little close to the sun, but generally speaking, tends to be making big time plays. still have a Kitsune Rush available for Northwestern as well as UCS used so many of their ultimates in that previous fight. They're running out dry. So this could be another huge distance gain for the side of Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern right now, 5.5 left on the clock, so certainly plenty of game left, but everybody knows how Push can be. It can be very streaky, very momentum-based, and when you're able to get the Genji out of his little perks, that's going to be fantastic news for Qwerty. At the very least, you take control of the building, you force UCSC back, and in the meantime, you take down Requiem with the Ramatra. Ronan able to link up with the support and DPS combo, and that means Northwestern, they can just continue on marching. They're going to be at about 100 meters here before any sensible contest is able to even materialize for the Slugs.
And again, still, Qwerty just does not let up. Ruthless gets the stagger onto Canvas. They've turned the final corner. They still have plenty of ultimates at their disposal. UCSC only has a rush.
I would love to show that clip to Genji players in like 2017 and say, listen, one day there will be a hero stronger than you that does what you do. They probably wouldn't believe their eyes, but that is the beauty of Qwerty and just how well they're able to pilot this hero. And in the meantime, I mean, look at this. The Swordsmith is just hacking the backline 1v5 essentially at the spawn and finding kills alongside of it. Northwestern, they are cruising and bruising, and the Slugs are about, what, 1 meter away from the L here? This game is dusted.
Yeah,
look at this.
I mean, there's still time on the clock, but more picks are just coming in, as that's going to be all she wrote. Northwestern takes a commanding 2-0 lead in this series with their first official game in NECC Division 1. They're looking strong, just like their 16th placing in the top 20 rankings.
Oh my goodness, I don't even know what clip this is going to be because it could be the whole game. Yeah, that's a good choice. That was a critical team fight, executes the Ramatra. And yeah, folks, this is why you need some seriously hard focus or some serious lockdown or CC. Otherwise, that's just what's going to happen against a good Vendetta. For anyone that's been getting beat up in solo queue like myself, you need to coordinate a team effort to stop that hero. And then the problem is, it's like double teaming a good three-point shooter. Somebody else is going to be wide open to take a real good shot at you. So it is very, very hard to manage when you let a Vendetta just, I mean, she was literally hitting hurricanes in the spawn door.
I mean, this is going to be interesting because obviously Northwestern's looking good. Qwerty's looking good on the Vendetta. Thinking about the patch coming out on Tuesday, that's going to release all the new heroes. Plus, there's going to be perk and balance changes. Vendetta's been OP for a long time. People have been asking for a nerf. I would not be shocked if we see a Vendetta nerf coming into this next patch. So this may be the 1 week where we get to see Vendetta shine, and she might take a little bit of a back seat for a little while. So, enjoy it. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, then I'm sure you're looking forward to Tuesday, most likely, crossing our fingers that she gets a little bit of a nerf. If not, enjoy it while you still have it, because I feel like a lot of people are wanting Blizzard to give her a nerf.
And listen, the thing with new heroes is we know the nerf is coming. It's probably going to be, I don't want to even call it an over nerf because this hero has been absolutely abusive, but they will get taken down 2 to 3 power levels, and then 4 months later, they'll kind of creep them back into the middle where there's some level of balance. But yeah, right now, listen, to all the players out there, use it before you lose it. This hero is clearly very strong, and above all, it is entertaining to watch somebody just playing at 800 APM, flying all over the screen, just taking people out. So that was a big map. That was a big win for Northwestern, up 2-0 in the series. Now ball in the Slugs' court yet again. This is potentially our last map of the evening. As Ray said earlier, they're going to get full selection of map mode. We're going to see what bans are going to come through, and we're going to see if they can extend the series to kick off our week 1 D1 matchup. More NECC back to y'all in a few minutes. Welcome back from the very short break. We've got more Overwatch 2 for now. We're going to drop that in due time, but we've got Northwestern up 2-0 right now over the UCSC Slugs. And I'll tell you what, I always hate to be the guy that's like, oh, look at the DPS, look at the DPS. But when you put the shiny new hero in front of me and this guy's hitting 180, wall bounce, 360, spin to wins on the entire team's backline, it's certainly something to note. The Vendetta has been a problem, but obviously the rest of Northwestern, you gave him some proper gas coming into the series saying, listen, they beat some really good teams to get where they are now, and they're clearly ready to fight for everything. And right now, you could not ask for a better start than what they've put up.
Agreed. I do want to highlight Ronan a little bit. Like Sigma, is not really the best tank in the game right now. I mean, especially Zarya. Like Zarya goes pretty hard into Sigma right now. I mean, obviously Zarya was banned that last map, but to be making Sigma work like the way they had been, even Ram can be tough to deal with as a Sigma just because pop form, run at Sigma. It's hard to deal with. And they played extremely well. But yeah, definitely the highlights have been YT and QWERTY. As we go into map number 3, possibly the last one, I expect more of the same from this squad. UCSC, as we mentioned, I think they did as best as they could when it came to choosing map and bans. So to me, that doesn't bode as well for this final map, but who knows? They had a break. Hopefully they locked in and are ready to try and make this reverse sweep happen.
Yeah, listen, gotta just start with this map 3. So I hopefully, and again, I'm not even sure where they necessarily want to go from here. We're going to get a double dose of Atlas today. I am certainly not opposed. Get a little bit of the new-ish flavor, I guess, as far as our casting is gone. But UCSC, obviously, I was going to say, obviously, a map that they clearly like or they feel comfortable on. But I could have said the same thing about map 2, and then that map was even worse than map 1 as far as the scoreline went. So UCSC basically just forget the first 2 maps happened. The best thing you can do is just short-term amnesia, go into this Atlas, try out maybe a new comp, try to see if you can shut down one, maybe try to focus even one player that you can shut down and then see if you can kind of work the fight around that. Because just taking these like straight up 5v5s, I mean, they're clearly, at least for now, a step behind what Northwestern's got cooking.
Yes, I mean, only time's going to tell what's going to happen with this series unfolding. Northwestern definitely has been super dominant so far, full capping East Bronson with 4 minutes on the clock. Lijiang Tower, it was 100-70 and then 100-0. As we do see the bans coming in, the Slugs are going to ban the Genji, but I expect more Vendetta on this map. Northwestern throwing in the life even feels like, yeah, they're just playing with their feet at this point. It just feels like a throwaway ban.
Yeah, I mean, Life Weaver said just was like very, very, very situational, and even then, still not the most popular of picks. So that's probably them just saying we don't feel like playing against the Life Weaver, or we don't really care. And like you said, the Genji ban, I'm sure that's going to be nice, but Vendetta does exist. She already went through the ban phase earlier, so that's going to get through either way. And even YT could honestly just rock the Sojourn and probably find similar results, which would be very, very high ceiling for Northwestern. I mean, there was no lack from either of those backline players at all so far.
Yeah, so for the Slugs, it is now or never, trying to make something happen for Northwestern, hoping to make this a nice, clean, easy 3-0. As we talked about, they have taken down some ranked opponents. Warner, I believe, is still ranked. I'm not 100% sure on that. Georgia Tech, for sure, is still ranked. They obviously, Northwestern ranked 16th. They are no stranger to beating some of the top teams in collegiate Overwatch. Let's see how the Slugs will respond to being down 2-0.
And listen, the game as mixy as Overwatch can get, it's not necessarily, not every fight is going to be an equal footing. So even if you are in theory a quote unquote like worse team, you can still find the better angle in the right spot. And some of these maps, the difference we see is literally 1 or 2 kills sometimes that ends up changing the entire complexion of a map. So UCSC just got to try to find some small bright spots here and there. If you can target the DPS, great. If not, maybe try to focus everything onto the tank player and Ronan, because as you said, they've been instrumental in just being a rock in the center of the entire operation and really not moving. So UCSC, certainly their work cut out for them. We did have a player crash. They should be loading back in a few seconds. But UCSC, maybe that extra 30 seconds, give them a little time to say, listen, it's map 3. We better lock in. We're going to get this done.
Hopefully, as we did get the confirmation that they are here in the lobby, so we will be getting into this map very shortly, folks. Just to recap a little bit what's happened, if you just tuned in, Northwestern versus the Slugs, Lijiang Tower, dominating victory for Northwestern. and then they went into Esperanza, and it was more of the same, full capped with 4 minutes on the clock. Let's see how the Slugs can respond as we enter what could be the final map.
Yeah, Northwestern certainly living up to the reputation, and this is exactly the kind of school, this is exactly the kind of storyline I want to see, especially week 1 of collegiate. These guys were cooking before week 1 even started, carry that momentum into the start of the season in the biggest division with the biggest stakes. You could not ask for a better introduction into D1 NECC, but the job is not finished. We are gonna hit the keys a little bit, play us a fine tune from the Slugs, still in good spirits, getting the party popping. 5 seconds to go, and this is their potential last shot against the big bad Northwestern.
Here we go, Northwestern running it back with the same composition. No surprises here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. UCSC going back with Kimbis on the Reaper. It did have its good moments on Lijiang Tower. Let's see if they can continue to carry that over.
And I think they're going to need UCSC. They're going to need a massive performance out of either Gnome or Kimbis, because obviously it's a team game. Everybody has to fill their role. But you do at some point just need your DPS to say, give me the ball, let me go score that thing, because otherwise you got people like QWERTY and YT with Ronin, Meek, and Echo going unchecked. But Requiem being alive with Mom potentially gives them an angle if they can keep the Lucio alive, but unfortunately not. Northwestern able to scoop up the kill, and that is a huge stagger onto Requiem as well. That means the Slugs are going to be back into the spawn, and Northwestern jumps on the point.
With the wave spawns, they'll be back relatively quickly, but again, it's just a lot of ult charge for both these DPS members. Even Echo, who we haven't talked a lot about on this Kiriko, has been silently been a killer. They have been getting a lot of assassinations early in some of these fights, so another name to continue to keep an eye on.
Ain't that a beautiful thing if you're Northwestern, where you can look to your left and your right all the way down the line at the squad, and you're like, I've got everyone's back here. They've all got my back. My DPS are absolutely insane. You see me getting in action with the right-click boop as well to get the final blow. So Northwestern picking up where they left off 5-10 minutes ago. They are wasting no time getting active, and I just love that QWERTY is just everywhere all at the same time. It's fantastic to watch.
As we're going to see the Vendetta ult coming out, a lot of damage taken by QWERTY. Has to zoom on out of there. They're trapped, though. Get taken down, but YT's found 2.
Oh, what a beautiful thing from YT. We see one of those Vendetta heat checks that I was expecting to see a few more of. And ultimately, it's fine because the Vendetta draws 4 sets of eyes. We do actually have a cheeky pause, it would appear. Not sure team or situation, obviously, but Northwestern certainly feeling good after the first flashpoint. They looked damn good. We do see, looks like YT maybe overclocked themselves out of the server potentially. Maybe the same player that crashed a minute ago is. So I guess, listen, the Sojourn gun overheating the PC a little too much, I can definitely understand. But Northwestern, I mean, that looked textbook to what we saw mere minutes ago.
Their PC said, we have to nerf you. That was too good. You gotta get out of this server, buddy. You're QWERTY fed, but you made up for it, and it was such a good play that we can't let that happen. Your teammate fed and you still won the fight. Like, no, get out of here.
That's, and for UCSC, not that you're going to get down on yourself after one flashpoint, but it literally looks just like the map they just played at Esperanza, where you have Vendetta just going into the backline saying, I don't care if I die. I'm certain I'm going to get 1. Most cases, I'm getting 2 or 3. So this is going to be a net positive regardless. And then YT just sitting back far as they can with that long rifle, just ready to get any of the stragglers that walk out. So Northwestern certainly looking very, very good. UCSC gotta find a way to chain these ultimates together, find a big team fight. And if QWERTY's gonna go do that fun stuff in the backline, you've got to just take care of them instantly and move on and go get the next target.
Yeah, I mean, the issue was, wasn't a lot you could do with an overclock. It's
hard.
really hard to deal with as an ultimate. So YT just happened to get that up really quick, but they did deal with QWERTY relatively easy. It was just they got railed constantly from the overclock, and that was just too much damage too. It's not like they had bead or Kitsune Rush or something. They were just kind of stuck where they were. As we're going to get you guys right back in. First point cap for Northwestern as we are heading to the next point. Can't tell which one it is yet. Looks like it's Gardens.
Northwestern, YT, QWERTY, obviously the two DPS we've been ogling over, playing it very well, but Ronan, Meek, and Echo, you've called it the Kiriko, finding a lot of first picks. I've seen Meek getting a lot of kills, and I haven't seen Meek dying a lot, which is the biggest sign of a very strong Lucio player, is just know your role, play, position yourself correctly, and make sure you steroid all of your teammates as often as possible. QWERTY going to try to give chase to said Lucio, actually going to try to see if they can hit a line onto the back line. The bubble comes through as well on the back of the Kitsune rush from Echo. The only one that's going to fall in the crossfire is Meek, but everybody else, including that DPS Kiriko, going to town on UCSC.
Dude, I kid you not. Like, I watch these Vendetta players, and I'm just like, how does your mind keep track? Like, these movements are just ridiculous. Oh, man. But gamers be gamers, man. Very well done by QWERTY. UCSC, this is the best chance they're going to have at trying to win this point and get some percentage going. 3 ultimates, Death Blossom, and double supports. They're in a pretty good spot, but they have to be prepared for this Ronin grab.
Yeah, they do pop the Kitsune early as well, so LJ may be trying to rotate the team to a good spot to see if they can chain said ultimates together. Ronan invests the Graviton, and now Meek's just going to send in the beat drop to make sure that Northwestern has no chance of losing this fight, and it looks pretty good so far. But Requiem able to find an answer onto Meek, and it looks like UCSC putting up a fairly good contest, but there is still a Vendetta that has eyes on the prize. The Sojourn in Supernome desperately trying to get away. The sword actually connects mid-air as well, and Northwestern, again, they're in control of the point. They are racking up the percentage. They are loving this situation.
They are being down a tank, just gives so much advantage for this enemy. Zarya and Ronan being able to push up. Death Blossom finds one, but it's all for naught. Second point going to be captured for Northwestern.
Yeah, I fear the Slugs may have given their last gasp of air there for the series. You never want to call game before it's over, but 4 ultimates get used in that fight. They don't really get used in a tandem that made any sense. The Kitsune rush felt a little bit early. No one really follows up. Then ultimately the Death Blossom just feels far too late trying to make that 1v5 play, and that's what Northwestern has UCSC doing. Just got them panicking, playing a little bit out of themselves. And now you've got dueling overclocks. Can anybody break the stalemate? QWERTY just takes to the sky and takes out Noman. Back to the team.
Yeah, that's good about the Vendetta. When you get someone low, like YT did with Super Noman, they kind of got away. Doesn't matter. You throw your sword in there, you can get the kill pretty quick. Or you just throw your slash projectile out if you're able to find those kills. So, unfortunately for Super Gnome, and they still have 2 ultimates due Northwestern, but QWERTY's down.
Yeah, the Vendetta actually taken down early, and that means Echo now going to pop the Kitsune to see if they can win this second effort there. It looks like Ronan possibly able to line up a kill or two. There are so many blinking health bars on the UCSC side, and finally the killing blows come through. YT going unchecked in the side hall, Meek's getting active with the crew, and the Railgun finishing off the Lucio. That is a team kill for Northwestern, and they did it 4v5.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, you're able to win these fights down 1 consistently. Didn't even have to commit an ultimate to that fight either. This has just been an insane showing from this Northwestern squad.
Just quite visibly, at least from this series, just no weakness on the team. No one even really playing like okay. Everyone's playing incredible for them right now. And now it's an absolute combo. They get dunked on in the Graviton Surge. Northwestern doing Northwestern things. QWERTY mixtaping the Slugs toward the end of the game. Yeah, puts them on World Star, and Northwestern 98, 99, and the big triple digits for a 3-0 crazy strong series out of Northwestern.
Again, Northwestern is showing, you know, why the committee put them up so high after great placements in NECC to open up into Division 1, and then comes into this first match of the regular season of the spring semester and absolutely dominates. The thing, you know, obviously you're expected to beat some of the UCSCs of the world. You know, they're not obviously, you know, in that caliber that they have been beating recently. I need to see from this Northwestern squad. I don't know. I didn't check which group they're in, but they're bound to have some of those top teams in, whether that's BSC, Northwood, Fisher, NC State. I want to see how they can start punching up and how they do against those teams. Because like I said, the field's pretty wide open outside of Northwood at number 1. And, you know, maybe Northwood, Fisher, St. Clair, Winthrop, like those 4. It's like everything else completely open.
I think you nailed that perfectly. It's that no shade to UCSC, but obviously they're not right that top six, that upper echelon. So to see Northwestern just handle them as easily as they did, not even really break us, like they didn't break a sweat the entire series. Round one of Control was kind of competitive for about 2 minutes. After that, I think they maybe lost one team fight. Cordy inted 3 to 4 times. It still didn't matter. They won 2 fights 5v4 with no ultimates being used. So clearly that team is on a very, very strong level. They looked very cohesive playing around each other. And you said it perfectly. I need to see them play one of these better teams now. And because then you get that real, okay, where are they going to line up going forward in the rest of the semester?
So it's going to be one thing to keep an eye out going forward for the Slugs. Again, I expected some growing pains. They had to refactor their roster, no Zebra anymore. So I expect as the season goes on for them to start springing together some wins and some better showings there. It was just going to be a rough one when they're still recalibrating their roster. But just a reminder of how our day went today. We did have our first match, Purdue White against Carthage Firebirds Red. That was a dominating 3-0 performance. And then we came into this match for Division 1, and you saw what happened. Northwestern absolutely dominated.
Yeah, they put it on them, UCSC, that entire series. That was truly impressive, and I will be circling in red marker that matchup when they do play at Northwood of Fisher after we check the group and see who they end up or who they have the possibility of playing. But that was just the 2 series that we had for tonight to cap off week 1 of NECC. But obviously, it's week 1 of the semester. We got games all week till all the way through nationals later on in May. Go to the schedule for next week since we won't see y'all for a couple days. Valorant obviously going to be kicking off on Monday. We've got Marvel Rivals on Tuesday, CS2 and some Rocket League action on Wednesday, little split stream, League of Legends on Thursday, and then obviously got to cap off Friday with some Overwatch, especially with all the fun news.
We'll be dropping the 2 next week too. On Tuesday,
we will be dropping the
2. Yeah.
We will be dropping the 2. That's going to be a very exciting week for us. We're going to have a lot to talk about next week. But that being said, everybody go enjoy the rest of your weekends. Hope you all have some fun Super Bowl plans, obviously. I love Drake May. Go Pats. We're hoping out for the best here. See if I'm coming back with a happy or a sad tone next Friday. But listen, we're used to it over here, so we'll take it on the chin there. But thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Big shout out to Chippy, Reach, and obviously Ray for joining me on a fantastic week 1 back here at NECC. Have a great weekend. Take care of each other. We'll see y'all next week for a fresh slate of games.